Locked On Cowboys, your daily Dallas Cowboys podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked on Cowboys. Locked on Cowboys.
I am Marcus Mosher. He is Landon McCool, and we are Locked On Cowboys. We are previewing the Cowboys Week 10 matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. Landon, how are you doing today, sir?
Good. It's Friday. I'm excited to wash away the Denver stink off of me, and hopefully moving forward with this Atlanta team, and getting back to the normal winning ways.
Yeah, but before we preview that game, Landon, we got to talk about some rough news out of Dallas. This happened, I think it was yesterday afternoon. The Cowboys announced that Randy Gregory had a calf injury that he injured in practice. And he's going to be on the injured reserve list, which means he's going to miss at least the next 3 games. It stands to reason that he'll probably miss the next 4. The Cowboys will play 4 games in 18 days starting on Sunday, which is absolutely ridiculous if you ask me, to play that many games in that short of time, but that's besides the point. So how big of a loss is it for Dallas to not have Randy Gregory, not only this week, but against the Chiefs and the Raiders?
I mean, it's not great. It's, obviously they were already thin at the position, and Randy Gregory is one of the better players on this defense that they were relying on to kind of dictate game plans. And he was having some success. I don't know that he played so great in the last few games necessarily, but I think, he's still he garners a lot of attention, and he
played great in the Minnesota game.
That's true. Really the Minnesota game, he did specifically play great, but I think he kind of was okay last week. And I think that, I'm wondering if he actually may have had some of the issue previously, and then it just kind of got worse. So
remember, he's been dealing with a knee injury too. And I mean, I'm not saying those things are connected, but you never know. Like whenever
they can be, and they often are.
Whenever you're dealing with just lower leg injuries, these kind of things happen. So it sounds like, Landon, there's a chance that the next time we see Randy Gregory will be the next time we see DeMarcus Lawrence, right? Which I think is I've been kind of hearing that they're targeting that next game against Washington, which I think is week 15-ish, which is like December 9th or something like that. That seems like when we'll probably see both of those guys back on the field.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, that's those are critical games down the stretch that the Cowboys need to win. They're mostly all NFC games against either NFC East opponents or, in the Cardinals case, a team that you would be playing for and vying for top seeding in the NFC against. Yeah,
or the Cardinals, who you'll probably play in the first round of the playoffs in about 3 weeks after that game.
Maybe
just saying. All right, a couple other injury news before we get to the game. The Cowboys are going to the Cowboys are going to use Terence Steele at left tackle this week. Tyron Smith seems like he's still going to be out with some bone spurs. He did not practice on Wednesday and Thursday. It doesn't sound like he's practicing on Saturday. Do you expect Terence Steele to be better this week?
I do. I do think that getting more practice reps over on the left side will definitely help him. I certainly don't know if he's going to be reach the highs that we saw him at the right tackle spot. Maybe we will, but I do think that it should at least be, better than halfway between what we are used to seeing with him on the right side versus what we saw last week with him on the left side.
And also, I think having Lyle Collins basically have a game back under his belt at right tackle will just help the overall offensive line. I thought he was good last week. I think he'll be even better this week. It's not like Atlanta's pass rush is all that great, but neither was Denver, and the Cowboys still got rocked. So who knows? All right, let's take a quick break, Landon. We'll come back and we'll actually preview the Cowboys offense against the Falcons defense. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys about McDonald's. This episode of the Locked On Cowboys podcast is brought to you by McDonald's, proudly serving communities since 1965. McDonald's has always been more than just a place to get tasty, affordable food. It's a place where friends and family from the community can come together. A big thank you to all of our friends at McDonald's for always being there. So head to your local McDonald's to refuel and reconnect and go get a sausage McGriddle. Our McDonald's has been being fixed up, remodeled a little bit on the inside, and I've been really bummed that I haven't been able to go get a sausage McGriddle lately. So extra salt, by the way. Salt.
Don't do it. Don't do it, guys.
I know. All right, let's talk about the Cowboys offense. Dak Prescott did not play well last week. Do you expect him to play a better game against Atlanta this week?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think we talked about in the tape review a lot of what Dak was doing was bad footwork, and it just seemed like things weren't tight and clean in his process. I think another full week of practice off of the injury will help clean that up. I don't know that this should have been expected that he would have been this kind of rusty, but I think that Dak with renewed focus and another week off of the injury and another week in practice, getting in sync with his receivers, who also themselves are hopefully a little bit healthier as well. I think that's going to help him with the bounce back. I trust Dak especially when he's upset with himself to correct issues when he has them week to week.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. But one of the reasons I do think he's going to be even better this week is because I think the Cowboys are going to be able to run the ball. Grady Jarrett's a really good player up front. But the Cowboys have Zach Martin, Connor Williams. Do you think the Cowboys will have success running the ball in this one?
I think they will. I mean, I think Atlanta's been, shown that they can give up some yardage on the ground for sure. Atlanta is a very, especially now, kind of like a top heavy team. They have some superstars, some real guys that are playing really, really well. Like probably 5 or 6, 7, 8 guys when you combine both sides of the football. Mm-hmm. But behind them, there is not a great middle class for the Atlanta Falcons. It's top end guys, and then some guys that are kind of rookies, younger players, players that don't have a lot of experience, or at least a lot of good experience. So the Cowboys can find mismatches kind of all over that defense. And I think running the football is one spot where they should be able to make easy hay without too much risk. And I think that that's likely what the Cowboys will do.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets in this game. I think Dallas is trying to run the ball because their linebackers have not been particularly good this season. And I think they're going to like their matchups at wide receiver as well. We talked to Aaron Freeman from Locked On Falcons earlier this week. He said AJ Terrell's been really good this year, probably going to stay on the outside against Amari. It's just the other cornerback spots have been up and down. Your guy, Richie Grant, is actually playing slot corner for them. And you would think that would be a big advantage for CeeDee Lamb, who probably is going to play more slot in this game with Michael Gallup coming back. So I think the Cowboys should be able to have a lot of success in this game, whatever they try to do. But as always, it'll be mental mistakes. It'll be tip passes. It'll be drop passes. If the Cowboys can avoid that kind of stuff, they should easily score 30 points in this one. I would almost be shocked if they didn't.
There's no excuse. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They had a terrible game last week, so there's no complacency, excuse here. I mean, not that that's an excuse in the first place, but you sure as heck shouldn't feel complacent after what you put on the field last week. So the Cowboys are the more talented team here. So they need to play like that and put this game away early and put this game out of reach. If this game is still close at the end of the game, either Atlanta's played out of their mind, or Dallas continues to not play clean football and not lead on the advantage that they have. Which I said, after last week, I would find it hard to believe that they put out another stinker 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and I think the offense without Randy Gregory, they're going to have to score 30 points in this one, because we can talk about Matt Ryan now. He's played really well over the last 2 months. His pass rating's like over 106 since week 3. The offense has clicked a little bit more. So without Randy Gregory creating pass rush, wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons score 24, 27 points. Dallas has to go into this game knowing that you're going to need to score 30 plus to win. And I think having that sense of urgency is going to be a good thing. Let's talk about the Cowboys defense against this Falcons offense. How do they slow down Matt Ryan? Because I'm not sure who's going to be rushing the passer for the Cowboys on Sunday.
Well, I think one of the good things that the Cowboys hopefully will take advantage is that the Falcons are going to be without your guy Calvin Ridley, who is not playing for I think mental health issues, which again I just want to point out is fantastic. I think it's great that these players are feeling comfortable enough to take the time off that they need. Lane Johnson did something similar. It's good that these guys are taking care of themselves a bit more. But fortunately for the Falcons, it kind of leads them in the lurch a little bit at the wide receiver position. They get Russell Gage back last week, and he had I think a 2-touchdown performance, which is great. He's a nice little slot player, but they don't have a ton on the outside. It's going to be a lot of working the middle. It feels like,
and
with
run
guys like Yeah, with guys like Kyle Pitts, with Cordell Patterson, who is playing running back, but and actually playing running back quite well, but is obviously kind of that Ty Montgomery inside outside receiver, right running back type player. So I think the Cowboys are going to need to do what they can to defend the middle of the field specifically, because that is where Matt Ryan is going to be able to make a lot of hay.
Yep. And Kyle Pitts is unique. We talked about him so much on this podcast leading up to the draft, but what they can do with him putting on the outside or having him in the slot and running drag routes, he's just going to be really, really difficult to defend. And I'm curious to see how the Cowboys try to match up with him because he is a unicorn. How do you think the battle between Matt Ryan and Dan Quinn plays out? Like, who do you think has the advantage here?
Honestly, I don't know that they have very much advantage over each other at this point. I understand that Dan Quinn was the coach last year, but Dan Quinn's defense and his scheme has changed a lot since last year. And I mean, I think frankly, you can say the same about Matt Ryan. I mean, I think you could make the argument that Dan Quinn obviously knows Matt Ryan very well. He may know his tells and that sort of thing, but they've got a completely different offense this year with everything that they brought in and the new head coach. So it's not going to be a level of familiarity that we are necessarily hoping for on either side, I think. So I think that there is some familiarity. Obviously, these guys know each other very well after having coached and played for each other for a long, long time. But I think that the systems that each of them are running now are quite different than they were the last time they faced each other.
Who's more likely to have a big revenge game in this one, Matt Ryan or DeMonte Casey or Keanu Neal? Like, if you had to pick one of these guys to just kind of to take over the game, which one are you picking?
I mean, I think a free safety versus a quarterback is not much of a. I mean, I think Ryan, has a chance to, and I don't know if it's revenge. I mean, I guess maybe revenge from last year's game, right?
That's what I was going with. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ryan is definitely going to come out ready to play.
I think he's going to have a good day. I really do.
I do too. I don't doubt it. I think the Cowboys just need to keep it all in front of them. Really, I think the big thing for the Cowboys defense, they're going to struggle to rush the passer, obviously, because of all the losses they have. They'll be able to generate some pressure. I think that, because the Cowboys are pretty decent at that, whether it's through alignment or through blitzing. And the Falcons' offensive line has been pretty good, but not great. So I think that they will be able to make some hay there. And again, I've been saying making hay a bunch. I must be like dealing with horses or something. I don't know. I think
we got the Broncos stuck in our mind.
That's right. The Broncos are really, really got in my head. I think that Ryan is surprisingly good at manipulating a dirty pocket for a guy that of his play style and his age. So he's not going to go down easily. So I think the key thing here for the Cowboys defense is making sure they make tackles on once the ball does get caught or if it gets run. The issue really is that Ryan is going to want to be a point guard. They're not going to be able to really probably get deep necessarily or have a bunch of chunk plays, you'd hope. So Ryan is definitely going to try to distribute the Kyle Pitts to Patterson. Those guys are obviously both great after the catch. So the Cowboys really, really need to make sure that they have cleaned up this tackling issue they had last week, because that's going to be key to stopping this offense.
I will say this is a big game for Keanu Neal because I think he's going to play more snaps now than he probably has at any point in the season, because when Gregory was out in week 2 and Parsons had to play more defensive end, they still had Jalen Smith at the time, and it was Jalen, Van Der Esch, and Neal that were all rotating the snaps, right? And now that there's no Jalen, it's really going to be up to Van Der Esch and Neal to play all those linebacker snaps if Parsons is doing more pass rushing. So it's going to be a big opportunity for him. I'm curious to see how he plays. Is he aggressive? Does he make a couple big plays in this one? We shall see. All right, Landon. Yeah, go ahead.
I also think we're going to see an uptick in play from Wilson and Hooker, because Kearse will likely need to be playing more and more linebackers. So looking for an uptick of those guys to get some more snaps.
Well, and let's be honest. I think against the Falcons, you want to be a little bit lighter on the field anyways, because they treat Cordero Patterson like a running back wide receiver combo, right? There's times where they split him out and it's just 5 receivers on the field. And then there's other times they can bring him back in, and now it's, they're running the ball with him, in a wide zone. So I think you are going to want to have somebody like Kearse on the field more for Leighton Vander Esch or for Keanu Neal, just to give you some more athleticism. So something to keep an eye on. All right, prediction time. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys about Get Upside. Our listeners are making up to 25 cents per gallon on every single gallon of gas every single time they fill up. Just download the free Get Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and use promo code Touchdown and get a bonus 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's up to 50 cents cash back. Don't wait to pay full price at the pump anymore. Get cash back using Get Upside. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code Touchdown to get up to 50 cents per gallon cash back on your first tank. That is promo code Touchdown. All right, Landon, prediction time. My favorite part of the week. Who do you have and why?
Well, somebody's got to pick the Cowboys, so I'm picking the Cowboys. I think the line's like 9 points. That seems high, and I would say the Cowboys win. Let's say 30-24.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys should put up 30 points in this game. There's really no reason not to. The Falcons just don't have enough talent on their defense. Their best player might be Dante Fowler, and I don't believe he's going to come back in time for this game. Grady Jarrett, I think the Cowboys match up well with, and AJ Terrell, a really good corner, but when you have three good receivers,
doesn't matter.
I'm not sure it matters too much, and they've been pretty banged up in the secondary in their safety room, and the linebackers aren't great. So the Cowboys should put up a bunch of points. I am a little bit worried about Dallas's defense. Matt Ryan seems like the type of quarterback that could have a big game in this one. So I'm picking the Falcons to pull off the upset late, and let's say 33-30.
Thank goodness. The Cowboys need to win to get back to their winning ways.
I know. That's what I said. We got to pull out all the tricks, right?
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah. Should be a fun game. We'll be back, I believe, Sunday night to do a recap of this game.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, we're talking about Cowboys victory, right?
Yes.
Then we've got just an absolutely crazy stretch coming up over the next 3 weeks, right? We've got the game on Sunday in Kansas City against the Chiefs. We've got a Thursday night game against the Raiders. We've got a following Thursday night game against the Saints. It's going to be a busy, busy time if you're a Cowboys fan. So make sure you are downloading and listening to the Locked On Cowboys podcast. You can follow Landon on Twitter at McCoolBCB. I'm at Marcus_Mosher. Enjoy the game. We'll see you next time.